Hi, my name is Paweł Lechocki, and I'm about to show you a project which I've built for the Polygon hackathon. It's a storefront for my blockchain student group, which I'm the founder of at my university. And from the outside, this site just looks like a normal store. But what's so special about it? Well, we are donating 15% from each sale to the Ukrainian government, and we are doing that through a smart contract for extra transparency. Now, the reason we're doing that is because many stores claim to donate a percentage from each sale, but there's no way to verify that. They can either lie about it or actually donate, but you have to trust them about it. So, in our case, we're using a smart contract, and thanks to that, everyone can verify where the funds go on a public ledger. For even more transparency, we are displaying the total amount of the items we've sold. Currently it's 8, but it's running on a testnet, so these are not real orders. And we're also displaying the total sum we have donated so far in Matic, and we're also displaying a value in USD. Now let's take a look at the contract behind my store. It's written in Solidity 8.15. It's not the most recent one. The most recent one is 0.16, but it doesn't really matter. It's not a large difference. We're declaring the variables here, so we're starting with percentage of each cell which should be donated. It's also used in the constructor here, so you can deploy this contract with any percentage you like. These two variables are total donated, which is shown here is the amount of cryptos donated to the Ukrainian address. Currently it's displayed in Matic, but you can also deploy it on Ethereum or on Binance chain. This contract should work with any EVM compatible chain, so you're free to try it on each one. And this one stands for items sold, and it's the amount of the items we have sold. It's pretty self-explanatory. In this part, we're declaring the addresses, and that's the Ukrainian address, which is here. It's used by Ukraine to accept crypto donations, and currently there's 786 Ether in it. And this one is our treasury address. GBA stands for Greenwich Blockchain Association. In the constructor, we require the percentage to be less or equal than 100. And since we are using unsigned integer in this part, we don't really have to check if it's smaller than 0. We're setting the percentage to the amount provided, and we're starting with total donated and items sold with zeros. And in this part, we're just declaring the addresses. Now let's go to the most important part of our contract, purchase. At first, we are checking if the message value, and that means the amount of cryptos which are sent along with the transaction, is greater than 0. If it's not, if it's an empty transaction, then the transfer will get rejected with this message. Now we are splitting the amount, and we're sending the appropriate cut of the transaction, in this case 15%, because that's 15, which we've deployed the contract with, divided by 100, and that's how you calculate percentages in Solidity. And we're just initiating the transactions to Ukraine and to our treasury. And now we are updating the variable of total donated tokens with the cut we've sent to the Ukrainian address. And we are also bumping the items sold variable by 1, because in this store you can just buy one thing at a time. In the end, we're just emitting purchase event, so we can just view it later on the contract. It's not really necessary, but it's useful if we want to listen for events for any reason. Now, one of the interesting parts in this contract is this fallback function. Basically, what would happen if someone sent money directly to this contract without calling this function? Well, the funds would be stuck in this contract and nobody would have access to it. But in this case, I just took care of it, and I'm going to revert each transaction, which is sent to this address directly. Now let's just run some unit tests before showing how this store works. We're doing it on our local blockchain provided by Hardhat, so it's not a real blockchain, but it's still useful if you want to test your contract before deploying it to a real chain. As we can see, all tests have passed, so we're ready to go. Now, enough with the boring parts, let's place an order in our store. Let's say I want to buy a mousepad. At first I have to log in with my MetaMask, and here I just need to enter my name, let's say Paul, and let's also enter my email. We're not currently doing shipping because we're just based at our campus, so the most reasonable option is to do pickups. But anyway, we can see the total amount of almost £8, which also includes a donation of £1.20, which is 15% of this amount. We're going to pay with Merrick. Now this site is automatically using CoinGecko API to convert the fiat amounts, in this case pounds, to Merrick. So we're currently paying 11.77 Merrick. Let's just confirm the transaction. And let's wait until it's being processed. As we can see, the order has been successful. We also got our order ID, and we've also got an email confirmation. That's not really important right now, but let's check what happened behind the scenes. Let's go to MetaMask, and let's go to Block Explorer. As you can see, the transaction already got confirmed. Because we're doing it on a testnet, this is quite slow, but once we deploy it on a real chain, it will be much faster. Let's just wait until it gets included, and I might just cut this part, so I'll see you in a moment. And I am back after a short break. We can see the amount we've spent here, and we can see that the contract has divided the funds between our treasury, in this case is 85%, which has went to our treasury. And we can also see that 15% from the transaction, which is like 1.766, has been donated to this donation address ending with E14, which is this address. Now, let's go back to our page. Remember, previously we've had 8 items sold and donated 11.81 Merrick. Now, let's refresh the page. We can see that right now we have sold 9 items and the amount has also increased. That's how we are using blockchain for transparency. If we want to verify these amounts, we can just go to the contract directly. Let's refresh the page here as well. Let's go to the contract, read contract, and we can see that this variable is indeed 9, and total donated is 13.5856, 13.5856. It's rounded on my page, but here it's displayed in way, which is 1 and 18 zeros, but after making it shorter, it's just 13.5857, so roughly this amount. That's the end of this presentation, and thank you so much for watching.